Church was established in Huntington in 1872, when Huntington itself was no more than a year old. The first church was located on 8th Avenue and 20th Street. Massive flooding in the 1800s caused the church to be moved to higher ground at 6th Avenue and 13th Street, where it's currently at today. The current priest at St. Joseph's Church sat down with me to talk to me about the history of the parish community itself, and the schools that are connected with it.
I'm Father Dean Borgmeyer. I've been a priest here at St. Joe's Parish for almost over 5 years. Yeah, 5.5.
Wow.
We go back really before even Huntington was Huntington. And if you went down to Guyandotte, you would find the first place we had Mass here at the Mady Carroll home. You go across on 3rd Avenue, and there's a plaque on there. It's one of the 2 surviving buildings of the Civil War. Our first pastor was, at the time, his Father Quirk, Thomas Aquinas Quirk. He had fought in the Civil War.
Really?
And he fought for the North. But after the war, he went to France to study to be a priest. Our first bishop, Bishop Whalen, went to France. That was his alma mater, and he was looking for people to come to West Virginia. It was a new diocese, and he needed men who could ride horses. And of course, Monsignor Quirk certainly could fill the bill. He was ordained. He was up in Parkersburg, I think, for his first year or 2, and then he came down here to be the first pastor. And he noticed that the city was moving this way. Was more important than Guyandotte at the time. And he's looking for property, and our first parish was over in 20th Street and 8th Avenue. So you go into the viaduct. One of those 4 corners was where our first church was at. And he went around and begged for wood, lumber for the church building. And then again, he noticed that this town was building this way. And he also noticed that there was a big flooding going on. This is before the dams and the locks were happening on the Ohio River. And he noticed that this property was above the flood plain. And so he chose this property to be our first really solid establishment. And so that's why we were here on this hill. So our parish church, if you had video of that, and I don't know the original structure, what it looked like, but apparently the first third was the first part of the building.
Okay.
Then they built the second part that goes to, the first part goes to the side doors, the second part goes to where the angels are at, and the third part was added on after that.
So it kind of just kept building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell people one more build and we're going to be a bowling alley. It's just going to be
So
long and narrow church. So that was our first pastor, and he was here for a while. He ended up going up to the Weston area, and he was there for 40-some years. He was 90-some years old when they made him a Monsignor. I do have his picture on the wall. You want to get that later.
Yeah.
But he was an Irishman. Matter of fact, he came here on the lam. His dad was a constable in England, and he had released some political prisoners, and he had to flee for his life. So he came to America. That's how he ended up over here. Yeah, he was really a colorful man. And then they found out that there was some major money left to him, but he couldn't go back or he'd be arrested. So I guess they lost that. Yeah. The second priest, Father Werniger, was really essential for our school. And there was a woman who had a home right behind our church, the Brown sisters. And he brought his 2 sisters over, and they became the first teachers of our school. And later on, that's how we got the property to extend the building, because the Brown sisters left that to us.
The history of the church continues on with different priests and the development of the parish itself. Over time, the church grew in numbers and buildings. parish community and the church's involvement in Huntington have changed over the years, just like the church's buildings. Now taking up a whole block, the church has become a staple to Huntington and means different things to different people. The parish community itself has had to transform and shift to better accommodate to its parishioners and the community.
I think any church, I think in particular West Virginia, in Huntington, has to be some kind of a beacon of faith. We don't really have an outreach like some other parishes do. We do fund some of the drug rehab programs that are going out there. We're regular contributors toward the Huntington Mission. I kind of think my primary role is to have a school of spirituality, and so we have a variety of religious services, I think, to keep our lay people connected and strong in their faith, that they're able then to go to their own workplace and their own community and kind of be very good citizens of the Huntington city. You know, that's my primary thing. I don't see my work as a social worker, but as someone to empower other people to go out and be the best human beings they can be in their jobs and their families. We used to be a neighborhood parish, but our people have moved out. So we don't have that immediate connection that some of the old downtown churches had, where people would walk to church, or it became the center of their family life. Some of them are driving now for a number of minutes to get here, and parking's always a problem, you know. And we worry about some of the drug activity and things that are happening in Huntington. So you're not going to find a whole lot of evening activities just because of a safety factor, you know, and that's disappointing. But I think what we have, I think we're doing a pretty good mission.
The school itself has changed a lot over the years. The growing number of students allows the school to continue to advance in its academics and expand the church's community.
The Catholic schools, and we don't have just Catholic students, we do have a number of students who are not Catholic. Our mission is to help train leaders for the church and churches, that they will take an active part in their careers and vocations, and that's just good for any community. You know, we look back on some of our alumni who had become doctors. There's some politicians. We're very proud of the people who came from our schools. So our enrollment now, but this goes from like either nursery all the way up to 8th grade. There's over 450 students in that, and there's about 150 students at the high school, and that's only for the 4 years, which is a good number for us. The high school, because of the numbers, we really can't support a football program, and that's an attraction thing for families with young men and women for some of the sports programs.
St. Joseph's Church has a rich history and a long connection to the Huntington area. It will continue to grow and remain a staple there for years to come.